The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 108. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women finding their inner journey to self-confidence 5 days a week. Visit our blog at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Well, hello friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have a special lady on today, all the way from Singapore. So you might hear a little bit of what Singapore sounds like during the day. It's just the hustle and bustle in the city in the background. But she is a dreams architect, and she's also an entrepreneur. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Audrey Tan. Audrey, how are you doing today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to the listeners.
Hi, Sheena. Thanks for having me. So I'm Audrey. My middle name is Joy, Audrey Joy. And I'm the co-founder and dreams architect of Moolah. So our organization's mission is about cultivating mindful money for a flourishing and equitable world. And how we do that is we combine games, experiences, community experiences to connect social enterprises to conscious consumers. And in that process, allow our users to have alternatives to mindful goods like coffee, tea, clothing, bags, socks, food, and things like that. And that's just one of the new initiatives that we are currently working on in the organization.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. And what would be your cultural background?
Wow. So my dialect is called Teochew. So it's a local dialect. Its original heritage came from parts of China. And I found out too that my great-grandmother is Peranakan. So Peranakan culture really is a mix of Chinese, a little bit of Chinese and Malay cultural influences from different parts of ASEAN. And so that's a little bit of my cultural background from some of the family ancestry. It's quite fascinating though, because I've recently begun to understand a little bit more about the Peranakan culture. So if you go online and you Google it, it's such a fascinating culture with amazing sets of food and clothing that's very, very local and very, very poignant to the Peranakan culture.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And, it's always cool when you find things about yourself and your family tree that you never knew, and it's just like, wow, I didn't know this existed, or I didn't know about this about my family, right? So it's pretty cool. What would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
Well, I have a couple, but one that really resonates in this season for me is where there's a wheel, there's a way. Where there's a will, there's a way.
I love it, because I always believe too, if you're willing to do the work, to fight for your dreams, to fight for what you believe in, there's always a way for you to achieve it, right? So absolutely. So I really love that quote. Thank you so much. And in your own words, how would you define self-confidence?
Wow, I love this question. It's fairly reflective and philosophical. Well, it's really quite timely for this question in this season as we are approaching the end of the year. For me, self-confidence, first and foremost, begin with 1, loving oneself, and 2, accepting oneself. And when we're able to love ourselves and accept ourselves, it really allows us just to be free, authentic, and really just to be, really who we are. Because then, the world doesn't have to tell us we have to be like this and like that. And I don't have to think that I need to be like this and like that. And self-acceptance allows us to be, really, really who we authentically are.
That's so true. And, especially being Asian women, it's not easy to learn how to accept ourselves and love ourselves, because we've been told, our lives to follow the rules, just follow our elders and just do what we're told, right? I mean, this is a great definition. I believe that, once we can love ourselves and accept ourselves, we can be who we want to be. We can be our authentic self. And, Audrey, what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
I honestly feel that as a woman, as a person journeying through life, I'm still constantly discovering, this sense of self-confidence. And honestly, there are days where, I just feel so terrible. I feel like, I'm so inadequate and so unable to do certain things in my own ways. But somehow with this deep sense of grace, from kind of a higher power, things become possible. But then again, I realized that for me, the one, I would say, fairly defining moment in my life was really when I had the opportunity to go to a really amazing company in the heart of Silicon Valley back in 2008. And the experience working with that one particular high-tech startup kind of really opened my eyes because, when we were in a company of the engineers, the founders, some of the people and product, the kind of culture that really inspired me to just be who I am. And I think more importantly was the encouragement in the sense of positivity that really kind of gave me this sense of belief, And I still remember because this program that I was on, I was part of a university program and I was taking classes in a local university in Stanford, and we were working at this high-tech startup, we being me and my co-founder. And I remember sharing, this idea at that time about Play Moolah and how we could empower, kids to learn about money at a young age, right? And, after that presentation that we did, I still remember, our professor, Tom Kosnick, who came up to us and he actually said, wow, this has been one of the most poignant presentations I've ever heard. And you guys really have to take this into market and operationalize this concept, right? And the belief that he had in his eyes, I would never forget that moment. And it really just gave me this sense of confidence, that wow, someone would actually believe in me, this young person who probably didn't know very much at that time and had so much encouragement. For me, that moment was really, really absolutely defining.
Yeah, I totally agree. It makes a difference when someone does genuinely believes in what you do and what you're about. I mean, when they can look straight into your eyes and they just say, those 3 words, I believe, or 4 words, I believe in you, right? And when they say it and they mean it, it propels you to do the things that you want to do, right? So, I mean, after these realizations, what's your life like now?
Wow. As I mentioned, the journey of an entrepreneur goes through many different cycles. There are days where it's up and there are days where it's down, and I mean, I still struggle, to be very honest, at times with my lack of self-confidence. But just today I was talking to a friend and, she was saying, do we look at the glass half full or do we look at the glass half empty? And this realization that, okay, perhaps I'm beating myself up way too much. I'm being too harsh with myself. Just that realization helps us to realize that, hey, because I realize also too that sometimes when I'm very, very harsh with myself, I end up being harsh with the people around me. And the way that I am with people, it has an impact on others. And this realization just kind of tapers it down and helps me to kind of live sanely and I think be happier, Because sometimes life is too serious when we are too hard on ourselves, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think as Asian women, we're always so hard on ourselves, right? It's like we have to, we're always chasing that perfect thing and not realizing that, there's not such a thing, right? But when we can be aware of our things we're not having a bad day, we're too hard on ourselves, or we're complaining about something, then we can be aware of it, let it go, and then we can shift into something happier, like smiling and laughing and just being in the moment, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
I really love that. And Audrey, to the woman who is listening to your episode, she might be in her own journey to self-confidence. What would be that one tip you would give to her?
Well, I would say look out for role models. Look out for women who could mentor you. Surround yourself with a community of, women who inspire you. I think for me that would be the most important thing because this journey towards self-confidence is never really binary and it's really hard to kind of do it on one's own. But with a community and with people around you, anything is possible.
I totally agree. When you surround yourselves with like-minded women who are with you side by side, who lift you up in whatever situation you're in, you can conquer anything. Because I've done that too in my own journey. I connected with a group of women entrepreneurs who are just there to help you, to support you in anything you do. So I truly believe just connecting yourselves with like-minded women is it makes a big difference in your journey. So one more thing, Audrey, if our listeners want to connect with you, get to know what you do, or get to know who you are, is there any social media profiles or any links we can connect with?
Yeah, absolutely. So follow me on Twitter, Audrey Tan at Twitter. I'm also on Instagram, AUJoy. Or, feel free to check out our website at Moolah.com, and you can find like a contact us form or sorts, and you can leave an email and we can be in touch.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And to the listeners, if you want to connect with Audrey, you can also head on over to the taoofselfconfidence.com and search for Audrey's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I just want to thank Audrey for taking the time to share her story. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Sheena. I really, really appreciate this.
The pleasure's all mine. It's an honor to have you on. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence. And we'll catch you later. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on the Tao of Self-Confidence. Visit thetaoofselfconfidence.com for links to everything we chatted about today, as well as killer resources, gifts, and so much more. Start your inner journey to self-confidence today.